the letter from Hartnell to Mr. Sandoval talking about, thank you very much for bringing this important issue to our attention, and we've taken care of it, appropriate action will be taken, it's not going to happen again. I'm not quoting exactly, but it certainly suggested the taking of appropriate remedial actions in response to the findings of its investigation.
I encourage Your Honor to take a deeper look into that letter. You will find that the letter does not state that discipline was imposed or that the employee was found of any wrongdoing.
What's appropriate remedial action then?
I think that it's that the policies will be followed and that members of the public are entitled to make complaints. They say, hey, I think something's wrong. Doesn't mean that they're right. They say, I think something's wrong. The governmental agency looks into it and then has a responsibility at some level to report back to the person making the complaint. I think in this instance, coupled with the declaration that revealed there was no there by the superintendent, and there were 2 declarations filed in this matter by the same to the same conclusion under penalty of perjury, which is not the same thing as the letter, you will find that that letter explains to the community member, look, you thought there was some nefarious business going on. There's no nefarious business going on. Thank you very much for your concerns. Have a nice day. I don't think that there's anything in there that says Mr. Navarez committed some terrible sin. Mr. Navarez was given 50 lashes for this or that. There's nothing to that effect. And I think that those 2 declarations in evidence absolutely do stand up as substantial evidence. And there's no evidence in the record, which qualifies as an abuse of discretion. There's no evidence in the record that says that this conduct rose to the level to meet the Markin test. And the last thing I would say is that I think counsel may have misspoke. I don't think Chino Valley was addressed in the Markin case. It fell many, many years after Markin. But the point being is that Markin set forth the test for everybody else. Chief executive officers, you have a diminished constitutional right to privacy. A diminished constitutional right to privacy there because of the responsibility that you hold. Not because of how many people come across your desk, not because of how many phone calls you answer or how many members of the public you shake hands with. It's the responsibility that goes with that chair that the court was concerned about and said because of the responsibility that comes with that chair and only that chair, you have a reduced expectation of privacy. And in those rare situations, we will allow unsubstantiated claims to go forward in certain circumstances because the public ought to know. But for everybody else, we're going to proceed with the Markin test where you have the 2-prong test. And because Mr. Navarez does not even fall on the OR chart, he's neither the chief executive officer, he's not the executive level cabinet member, he's lower than low. In respondents' pleadings, he says, well, he even reports to somebody who's kind of important. You don't get coattails of importance. You don't get to say, well, you know, just because he sits on that person's coattails, they are now somehow important. And therefore now